Hello, everybody. Welcome along. My name is Benjamin Bloom. This is the Benjamin Bloom Football Channel. Please leave your bias at the door and join us for a rather complicated preview and predictions show. Everything is a little bit convoluted this weekend because we have the FA Cup fourth round, which means we are down to just 4 championship predictions and 1 dearly departed prediction. Therefore, like David Brent, we are just going to pop everything into the one show. So we've got 15 games to look at that involve our dearly departed teams and our championship teams. So we will be doing predictions for the championship, the 1 dearly departed game, and the FA Cup games on top of that. If that all makes sense to you guys, let me know if you can see me, hear me loudly and clearly, and help me along the way, and we'll try and get some predictions in as we go. Before we do go any further, let me do my normal plugs and thank yous, etc. Let's say thank you because it's a preview show to our fan sponsors, the Donovan brothers, in loving memory of Michael Donovan of South East London, lifelong Millwall fan, admirer of this show. Thank you to the Donovans, a lovely tribute to their late brother there. As ever, this is live on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. If you are indeed on YouTube, hit that like button. Just takes a second, draws other people into the stream. Hit subscribe if you haven't already. Ring the bell for notifications. But most importantly, if you're watching, comment, predict, help me out. Difficult task because we're going to be all over the show today, let's just say. You can support the channel via Patreon, like the Donovans did there for the sponsorship. You get some exclusive content over there, including my short form predictions. So if you don't like the long form shows, you can get them nice and short. We do Q&As and all sorts over there as well. And as ever, you can support via Super Chat at any point here on YouTube in the broadcast. First Super Chat in any stream becomes the king of the bin and owns the great honour of the sponsorship of the fake news sin bin that everybody loves to see. Let's say a few hellos in the comments. Ben will do an entire show in Mick McCarthy accent to say, Mick McCarthy, imminent appointment as Cardiff manager. Absolutely. A video might already be in the can. We're waiting for that announcement now. Hi to Carl. Hi to Jay and Joel. Mr. E, Marcus, and Russ all in the chat there. Let's begin in the championship. We've got 4 games to do, so help us out with your predictions. Let's switch over to the split screen. And this is our watch along tonight. Come and join me for that if you are at a loose end. What the hell else are you going to be doing during lockdown? Stoke City versus Watford tonight. And a big game for both teams. Stoke versus Watford. Get your predictions in, because Watford, we know, if they can in any way keep their home form any close to what it is and be even average away from home, they're going to get promoted because their home form's incredible, isn't it? So Watford are looking now. They've got 2 away games coming up to stick their flag in the sand here and say, look, we're not just a home team here and bullies. And by the same token, Stoke just aren't winning games at the moment. I think it's like 1 win in 8 or something of that nature. And they need, to sort of prove that they can not just be on the edge of the playoffs and actually get in there. Let's have a look at the recent form. Get your predictions in. So Watford, a lot of wins. Obviously, Xisco has won all 3 of his home games there against Norwich and Huddersfield and Barnsley, but 2 straight away defeats. Obviously, a COVID postponement in the middle there. But here they go, bang, bang, Stoke away and Millwall away. And like I said about Stoke, they've only lost 1 in the last 8, but they've also only won 1 in the last 8. 6 draws means they kind of hang around the edge of the playoffs. And they've been hanging around the edge of the playoffs seemingly all season. Stoke's home form, you can see Watford Imperious is okay. 13th in the league, 18 points from 12. Watford's away form is not going to get them promoted at all. And he scored 5 goals as well. So 11 points and 11 from Watford, kind of survival form away from home, championship form at home. And what we don't want to happen is for everything to cancel each other out and we get a boring draw. We want one of these teams to take everything bull by the horns and go and win this game. Let's see what you guys are saying in the comments. Afternoon to David. He'll have a prediction on this. Where are we going? Watford 3-2, says David. Watford win, not many goals, 1-0. 2-0 Stoke. Watford 2-0. As much as I really don't want it to be, I think it might be a draw, mightn't it? They need to win one of these away games, don't they, at Stoke or at Millwall? I don't know which one's more likely because both teams are tough to play against. Go on then. I'll go for Watford on the basis that we'd like some kind of title race. Watford 2-0, 2-1, 1-1, board draw. I don't care who wins. I just don't want a board draw. There you go. Chris has gone home as well. I'll go for an away win and some title race to ignite. 3 ways maybe between Norwich, Watford and Brentford. We'll see. Stranger things have happened. Kyle says 3-1 Stoke. Let's move on. And it is Preston versus Reading. And this will also be a watch along on Sunday at 12:15. Join me for this one. Is it 12:15? It says 12:15 on my board. That means it must be a 12:30 kickoff. Get your predictions in for Preston versus Reading. Good luck as ever, where Preston are concerned, because they're rather a difficult team to call. Reading more predictable and impressive this season. Reading 10 points in the last 4 games. John Swift back. Maite back soon. Liam Moore, Omar Richards back soon, we think, but they're winning games. Elise Ajaria, Swift, Zhao doing the business at the top end. Nice and tight at the other end. And still in that top 6, no drop off from Reading. They are 4 points clear of Borough, who are on the chase, though, with 12 points in their last 6. Borough. Preston, I'll throw my arms up again. 3 wins in the last 5. Good away win to beat Birmingham. Nice goal by Scott Sinclair. Mollenby and Whiteman now sort of integrated into that midfield. Let's look at the home and away and the recent records. So Reading away from home are good, aren't they? Look, 6th best team in the league, 19 points from 12 games. Preston at home, they've lost 7 games at home, but they've also won 4. So, in terms of home and away, it would edge towards Reading. Recent form, well, let's do Reading first because it's a bit more predictable. 3 defeats in there. I say it's a bit more predictable. No shame in losing to Brentford or Norwich, but a weird one there at home to Birmingham where John Terrell turned into Zidane or Riquelme or something for about the first half of that game. But look, wins then at QPR, against Luton, at Huddersfield, against Coventry. Are they flat track bullies? I don't know. Is that fair? They did get a draw away at Swansea, which is a decent result as well, isn't it? So perhaps not. Preston, who did Preston beat? Borough, Bristol City, Derby, Coventry. There's a lot of wins in there, isn't there? And Birmingham, but lost to Bristol City, Forest, Barnsley and Luton. Do Preston come a cropper when the going gets tough as well? I'm doing it before I even read the predictions. Away win. Reading are going to win. There you go. There's my prediction. Let's see what you guys are saying. But first of all, let's drink and we can make him king of the bin. Jim, thank you, sir. £5 super chat. as ever, first super chat becomes king of the bin. So Jim owns the fake news sin bin sponsorship throughout the rest of the show. Thank you so much, Jim, for the super chat. You too can support right now. What else have we got here? Marcus 2-1 Reading. Joe says 3-0 Reading. Kyle 2-0 Reading. This could be anything due to the fact that it involves Preston. 2-1 Reading away. Oh, look at it. We're heavy on Reading here, aren't we? Reading look good at the moment. Preston are just Preston. I'll say 2-0, but could just be a Preston win. Agreed. 2-1 Reading, says Honey Gun. 1-1. Preston to win 2-something, says Annie. 1-1. 2-2 draw. Didn't play a good team against the big teams as good. Yeah, there was injuries at that point, wasn't there? Slight mitigating factor there. Neil has realised that Mullenby is not defensive central midfield at all, in contrast to Potter, Harris and Rowett, and is playing him as an attacking one. There you go. Did he get hurt in the last game, Mullenby? Hopefully he's okay, because they're retooling that midfield now. We're expecting Ben Pearson to go out. Alan Brown is expected a new contract past this season. Probably no Dan Johnson or Paul Gallagher. We will talk about Mick McCarthy. Lots of people are asking me when the deal is done, which seems imminent from what I am hearing. Let's move on. Middlesbrough versus Blackburn. For some reason, when I think of this matchup, if anyone's my age, I always remember Middlesbrough not turning up for a game at Blackburn, and Blackburn getting awarded a 3-0 win, and then Middlesbrough getting relegated. Am I imagining that? Surely I'm not. That did happen in the late 90s, didn't it? Many, many moons ago. Here is, so it's Middlesbrough versus Blackburn at Middlesbrough. We normally say it's really good at home. Obviously, they lost the last home game, didn't they, to Birmingham? Sorry, my machine is seizing up here under the sheer pressure of information I put through it. Get your predictions in. Middlesbrough versus Blackburn. Borough in good form. 4 wins in the last 6. Meets my 2 points per game mega standard. But just like Stoke, seem to be on the periphery of the playoff without seeming to manage to get in there. Blackburn just inconsistent, isn't it? So let's look at the home and away. Borough good at home, and a couple of games behind Watford and Norwich in terms of catching up to their excellent 2 points per game totals they've both got. And what about Blackburn away from home? Well, Blackburn are just very middling everywhere, aren't they? 13th and 12th in the table, and 11th at home. There you go, 11, 12, 13, all evens itself out. Get your predictions in here. Let's look at the last few games. I'm a fan of both of these managers. There you can see the wins coming for Borough, and 4 wins in 6 is nice form despite defeats against Sheffield Wednesday and against Birmingham. They could have even more here out of this run, but they've done the business at Millwall. Against Millwall, Luton, Birmingham in that one game, losing the other, obviously, Wickham and Forest. Has it been an easy run? You tell me. And Blackburn, despite as much as we like Harvey Elliott and Bradley Dack and Adam Armstrong and the attacking players, just not winning enough games to, be a force in the top half. Plenty of defeats in there as well, 4 over recent times. I'm going to go ahead of the comments. I haven't seen them yet because I'm on the other screen. Home win for Borough. I think Warnock has enough in this one. What are we saying here? 0-0. Hope not. 1997, says Peter. Borough relegated, FA Cup and League Cup runners-up in the same season. Did Sheffield Wednesday do that as well? 3-1 Blackburn, 2-0 Borough, 2-0 Borough, home win, 2-1 Blackburn, and a 1-1 there from Chris. More people asking about Mick McCarthy. It's coming. Don't you worry. They'll probably announce it today, won't they? Surely get that deal done. 1-0 Borough, says Joel. Last championship game, and then we've got one dearly departed, and then we're into FA Cup. So stick with me for dearly departed one. I know this is possibly the championship audience gathered here for this one. QPR versus Derby. Something's got to give here, hasn't it? Because QPR have won 2 on the bounce since the return of Charlie Austin. But Derby, impressive. Impressive for one of Rooney's games against Bournemouth. Not so much in the other one against Rotherham. And are we starting to think that Derby almost performed better against the bigger teams in the league rather than the lesser likes? Does this play into QPR's favour? We did the return game of this as a watch-along, didn't we? The game at Derby, which QPR got the win in, Macaulay-Bonne. That was dark times for Philip Koku at that point. Get your predictions in for this one. QPR, a 3rd straight win, possibly, or Derby, a 2nd straight win. As the tide rises at the bottom of the table, we now have a bit of a homogenisation of what we thought just a couple of games ago looked like a kind of nailed-on bottom 4. It's now, Wycombe are a little bit adrift, but then it's now a little bit tighter up, although still a 5-point gap between Forest in 20th and Rotherham in 22nd. Let's do the home and away business here. So QPR are our home team. Their home record is not good, 18th best in the league. Derby's away record is 17th best in the league. So, and 17th and 21st feels like, on the basis of the numbers, a fairly even matchup. There are those 2 back-to-back wins for Rangers now, sporting a nice 3-5-2 formation, aren't they? With Charlie Austin apparently making a difference. I don't know if he can get Lyndon Dykes scoring. Bright Samuel probably farmed out now, given the pre-contract sign. Chris Willock came in and scored, didn't he? Maybe they'll start to give him more of a push in the team. Only 2 defeats in the last, what we got up there, 7 games, but only 2 wins as well. Back-to-back wins, though, for Rangers. For Derby, it's kind of strange that 3 defeats in 4, because the rest of it has been good. They got tight, didn't they, when McLaren returned? Stopped conceding goals. Good performances against Swansea, against Bournemouth, and against Brentford as well. A 0-0 draw away from home. But then, oddly, look, okay, the Preston defeat, there's a red card after 20 minutes. But, yeah, Sheffield Wednesday missed a load of chances and then lose at home to Rotherham. So just performing far better against the higher teams in the division. I haven't had one of these, so I'm straight in there, guys. Draw. I'll go for a draw in this one. Scoring draw, no doubt. See if Austin can get himself back on the scoring charts. 0-0 says Carl. 2-2. 2-2. Draw. 2-2 draw. 2-2. 2-1. 0-0. 2-1 QPR. 2-2. 2-1. 3-2 QPR. Right. That's the championship stuff done. Now stick with me. We're going to do one dearly departed game. Have a bit of fun if you're championship fans. We've got to do Aston Villa versus Newcastle. Join in if you will, and then we'll be back to sort of championship matters when we do the FA Cup stuff. But I need to cover this to keep up my imperious record of predicting every single one of these games. So it's Villa versus Newcastle. Villa maybe hard done to. Get your predictions in the comments if you fancy it. Even if it's out of your wheelhouse, throw a prediction in. Villa, slightly hard done to at Man City. Bit of a weird one with a loophole in the offside law. Man City getting away with one there. Villa coming back from a COVID break, essentially. Newcastle, though, thoroughly stinking the whole place out at the moment under Steve Bruce. Very defensive. Villa back to that full-strength team of sort of Martinez and Mings and Konza and Target and Cash, Douglas Luiz and McGinn, Barkley, Traore, Grealish, Watkins. I remember the whole team. There we go. Whoop-de-doo. So I would make Villa pretty strong favourites in this one, especially being it is at Villa Park. Let's look at the home form. 15th best home form in the league, only 7 played is a mitigating factor. Some other teams have played 3 games more. Newcastle's away form, 2 away wins in there, but 4 straight defeats. So I think we can all fairly simplistically lump on a home win in this one. Let's see what you guys are saying. 4-0 Villa, 2-1 Villa, 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 Villa. Dean Smith to act as VAR. Villa, Villa. Oh, nice one, guys. Everyone got involved in the dearly departed stuff there. Lovely to see. What a good bunch you are. Right, let's now move on to the FA Cup, and we'll try and do this nice and quickly. I won't go chapter and verse, where we have 9 games to focus on. We will only obviously look at the championship teams and the dearly departed team. So we'll do it by round, and we won't drill down too far. So first one up is Barnsley versus Norwich. I'll bring it up so we know where we are, but we won't go into mega detail. Get your predictions in. Barnsley versus Norwich in the FA Cup. I will throw in my 2 penneth worth. The Barnsley pitch is atrocious, and Daniel Farker will not give 2 flying whatever you want to say about winning this game. So we're going to see a Norwich reserve team. We'll probably see a 1.5 Barnsley team in this one, where they'll rest a few, but they'll keep the same system. And I suspect if Norwich lost and played a few players and, I don't know, got some fitness in Kieran Dowell or Onel Hernandez or Quintilla, the left back, that they'll probably be quite happy to pack up for the FA Cup and just focus on getting themselves back into the Premier League. So I'm going to go for a home win in this one on the basis that this game probably means more to Barnsley than Norwich, and the pitch is an absolute turd, isn't it? So Norwich won't be able to play their normal slick stuff on it. What are you guys saying here? 2-1 Barnsley, 2-0 Norwich. Barnsley on pens. Love it, Liam. 2-0 Norwich. 2-1 Norwich. They always win 2-1. 2-1 Barnsley. 2-0 Norwich. Squad 2 strikes a fair point, isn't it? 2-1 Barnsley. Norwich second string. 2-0 Norwich. 2-1 Barnsley. 2-1 Barnsley. Norwich on pens. Yeah, you just imagine, and it's a bit of a sad indictment of the FA Cup, that a lot of people will be happy to just, say, look, just treat it like a friendly, get some air in your lungs and some fitness in your legs. No one get injured, and if we win, great. But if not, who cares? Swansea versus Nottingham Forest is our next one. Get your predictions in. This will mean more to Forest than Swansea on the basis that Forest are a little bit lower down in the table. Remember, though, Forest have got this bloated squad where there are quite a few players who are going to want to prove themselves. Whereas Swansea, again, they're up at the top of the table. I think Cooper will go full on second string, surely, won't he, for this one, especially given it's a home game. But this could be an unhelpful extra time job for both of them. I wonder if Swansea will still win, even against the Forest second string. I'm going to plead the fifth and see what you guys are saying in the comments. 1-0 Swans, 1-0 Forest, 1-0 Forest because we want the City Cup tie, says Sonny. Oh, it's all set up for round 5. 1-0 Forest. No replays this year. No, absolutely not. 1-0 Forest. Why the hell not? Let's go with the chat. Let's go away win. Let's go Forest. Chris says Swans on pens. 1-0 Forest. Forest on pens. Swans 1-1. Forest on pens. 1-0 Forest second string. Swans. Neither will want to win this. Forest second string almost as strong as the first team. Yeah, not much difference. Although the argument then is the first team aren't very good. Although they have been in better form recently. Let's read the last couple of ones up there. 1-0 Forest, 2-1 Forest. We'll go away win. Now, this one should be a really good game, providing we get at least minimum 1.5 string, not 2 string. It's Brentford versus Leicester. So 2 good footballing sides, 2 teams having a good season, 2 teams with an established pattern of play whereby even the reserve sort of players will come in. I just wonder whether Leicester might see this as silverware, that they might be able to win. And Brentford have gone what I call 1.5 teams in a lot of these games, and except the one against Spurs, but then Spurs went heavy in the League Cup. So I suspect a slightly weaker Brentford team will mean that even a reserve Leicester team, I'm thinking of people like Iain, will still be able to come in. Is he still there? They rotate, don't they? Pratt and Under up the front, even without like a Barnes or a Mattheson starting or a Vardy, that they'd probably still overpower Brentford unless Brentford go full first team, which I just can't see them doing. So I've got to go away win. There you go. This could be a rarity. I've gone for Norwich, Swansea and Brentford all to lose on the same game week. That won't happen this season, will it? What are you guys saying on this one? There we go. 4-0 Leicester, 2-1 Brentford, 2-0 Leicester, 2-0 Leicester, 3-1 Leicester, Leicester on pens, 3-0 Leicester. Leicester battered Stoke, but Stoke aren't Brentford, but yeah, fair comment. 3-0 Leicester can win the FA Cup, 2-0 Leicester, 4-0 Leicester, Leicester strength in depth, 1-0 Leicester, 3-1 Brentford, informed team in the Championship, if indeed that team gets on the pitch. 2-1 away. That's Leicester. 2-1. Perez will score. There you go. We talk. This is the difference between the Championship and the Prem reserve team. What was Perez? 30 million quid. Goodness me. Bournemouth versus Crawley. Does anybody think Crawley have a chance of winning at Bournemouth? Although it says it's been cancelled. I'm sure it's happening on Tuesday, isn't it? Am I right? This game's just been moved to Tuesday. I'm pretty sure it's just been moved for TV. Yeah? We'll predict it anyway because it's not too tricky. Bournemouth are having a little slip in the Championship. Maybe we might see Mr. Jack Wilshere play in this one and Mr. Josh King. But they're strong squad, Bournemouth. And even with a 1.5 strength team, they should beat Crawley. Obviously, I understand people will say, oh, well, Ben, Crawley beat Leeds, but Leeds were hopeless, weren't they? It was the pitch, the reserve team, a bit of a drop-off from Leeds over a couple of games. So I have got to go for a home win to Bournemouth 1.5 string in this one. 2-1 Crawley. Why not? There you go. 3-0 Bournemouth, 1-0 Crawley. Mark Wright in the 90th minute, home win, says, Carl, I'll stick with a home win in this one. Right, Millwall versus Bristol City. Now, this is one where both teams might expend some effort into this one. Sorry, why I just pressed that button, I don't know. I am an imbecile. I apologise. There we go. We'll leave it there. Millwall versus Bristol City. I think both teams might fancy this more than some of the other Championship teams that we've spoken about, won't they? It's a way through to the 5th round, and both teams could kind of do with a little form bump, and both teams could kind of do with still working a bit more towards what is the actual first team. Rowett's forever trying to find his system and formation and personnel, and Bristol City have been inconsistent. Sorry, computer's all up the Swanee today, isn't it? I hope it's not starting to do that thing where your computer dies a death, but there you go. So, yeah, I think it might be a bit more competitive than we'd imagine. I think Holden will rest more players. I think Rowett will still go with a sort of first choice ish back three. So I'm going to go for a Millwall home win in this one. let's see what you guys are saying in the comments. Bristol City on pens. Bristol City on pens. We'll definitely not give two tosses about the FA Cup. 1-0 Millwall. We'll talk about McCarthy on another video. Lots of people asking. 2-0 Bristol City. Bristol City on pens. Millwall on pens. Hoping Millwall plays second string away win. 2-0 Mill. Got you on in the car. You're not driving, are you, Kieran? But let's know where you're travelling to and from, Kieran. 2-0 Bristol City. City 1-0. No, I did not forget Brighton versus Blackpool. Journeyman, not a dearly departed team or a championship team in that one. So we have not covered it. There is a method to my madness. Fancy Bristol City. Bristol City. Bristol City. Okay. Most people are against my thoughts then and more on Bristol City there. Moving on, the Mick Harford derby. Chelsea versus Luton. What a guy Mick Harford is. Hey. Chelsea versus Luton. And I think this one's quite an easy one, isn't it? Because Frank Lampard's under pressure and he will play a strong team and want to batter poor old Nathan Jones and Luton here. Luton are quite good at rotating, so they'll give a good account. But let's be honest, Chelsea will probably field about 9 internationals and 10 over 10 million quid players and some England players into the bargain. So I'm going to go for a fairly straightforward home victory in this one to Chelsea. What have we got here? 2-1 Chelsea, says Jack. Anyone else on this one or I'll move on? 6-0 Chelsea. Chelsea 3-0. 4-1 Chelsea. Luton don't travel well. 5-0. Yeah, let's go. Fairly straightforward. Mr. Lampard needs a win. He'll play some of his stars. And what's that fella? Werner needs a goal. He's been hopeless, hasn't he, poor guy? 3-0 Chelsea, 4-1 Chelsea, 2-0 Chelsea. Luton won't care, won't they? Just want to get halfway up the championship and keep developing the way they have. Everton and Carlo Ancelotti versus Sheffield Wednesday. Everton versus Sheffield Wednesday. Get your predictions in. This one is 8 o'clock on Sunday night. I'm guessing that might be on terrestrial TV there. Manager swap after the Chelsea-Luton game. That'd be tremendous, wouldn't it? Get Lampard back. We'll have him in the championship. Everton versus Sheffield Wednesday. Everton squeaked past Rotherham in the previous round. Should have a strong enough squad. I suspect Sheffield Wednesday might play a strong team in this, given that they've won 3 in 4. However, I don't see them getting past even an Everton reserve team in this one. Still with Neil Thompson in charge, Sheffield Wednesday. So I'm gonna go for Everton, and like we say, for a team like Everton or Leicester, who are a good team, but I suppose Leicester have got more chance than Everton of winning the actual division or getting in the Champions League. It's silverware, isn't it? So I think you have to kind of go for it. 1-0 Reach, says Glenn on BT Sport. There we go. 3-2 Everton, 2-1 Everton, 2-1 Everton, 2-1, 4-0 Everton. Jest. Ancelotti versus Neil Thompson. Bit of a difference in managerial calibre there, but I'm a big Neil Thompson fan, being an Ipswich fan, obviously. Everton, comfortable win, taking the cup seriously this year. Easing Rodriguez back against Rotherham. Good points, Harry. 1-0 Owls. Nice one, Carl. Everton, 1-0. Love to see Spurs through. Everton may go strong. I think they might. Everton, like Leicester, I agree, Chris. I think they can win the FA Cup. Journeyman, we do dearly departed teams and championship teams. 5-1 Patterson to get a goal. Did I read that? Is Patterson only 25? Have I got that wrong? Someone tell me, how old is Callum Patterson? I was doing some work the other day. What was I doing? It must have been... it must have been Cardiff's sales, because I would have been talking about Neil Harris. And I think I must have got that wrong. How old is Callum Patterson? Someone tell me in the chat. Wickham versus Tottenham Hotspur. This was a game last season or a couple of seasons ago, wasn't it, in the FA Cup? Wickham versus Spurs. And Mourinho went very low rent against Marine, but then he could. But Mourinho loves a trophy, doesn't he? Wycombe, bottom of the Championship. He won't want to get embarrassed here, Jose. So I think we might see some of the big guns. Maybe one of Kane and Song. We'll probably see Dele Alli, Matt Doherty, Joe Hart, possibly. I think it'll be quite a strong Spurs team in this one. So I'm going to go for an away win. He's already in one final, isn't he, Jose? I think he'll fancy this one. And I think he'll know that if he doesn't take it seriously, Wycombe will play a fairly strong team and do him on set plays. And that will look very embarrassing for Mr. Mourinho. So I'm going to go away win for Spurs. 25, 20, there you go, 26. No offence. Never judge anyone on their appearance. I thought he was older, Callum Patterson. There we go. Plenty of career left for him. 3-1 Spurs, 4-0 Spurs, 2-1 Spurs. Spurs will sit back after scoring a goal in the first minute. Slower than Purse at 26. A rare mention for Darren Purse. 2-0 Spurs, 26. There we go. Thank you guys for answering. 1-0 Spurs, 3-0 Spurs, 4-2 Spurs. Because he has grey hair. Why do you think he looks old? Yeah, because he has grey hair, basically. I'm not saying he looks old. I never said that at all. I'm just saying I didn't realise he was 25. I thought he was older than that. He's been around a while as well. No discrimination on the basis of appearance here on this channel. Absolutely not. Not with my hair, for goodness sake. I've faced enough of that in my life. I'll be the last person to discriminate based on appearance. Tottenham, comfortable win. Can't see him resting too many. 4-0 Spurs. Chris's words, not mine. Spurs. Surely Patterson likes Steve Cook, lies about his age. There's a Finidi George joke in there for any Ipswich fans watching. We weren't sure that his reported age was his actual age ever, but there we go. Sheffield United versus Jack, that is appalling. I'm not reading that, but it's quite amusing. Two things can be true, appalling and amusing at the same time. Sheffield United versus Plymouth, a Neil Warnock derby there. And Sheffield United need wins, for God's sake. How strong did they go in the previous round at Bristol Rovers? I think reasonably strong, didn't they? You might see a Bogle and a Lowe. Ramsdale needs as many games as he can possibly get, doesn't he? Maybe like a Keane Bryan. Lundstrom might start. He can still play, say, Mousse, Sharp, Brewster. So I think will be a strong game. But remember, Jeff Cott plays for Plymouth, and every time we do a super stream, Jeff Cott scores. So my prediction will be that Sheffield United will win, but Jeff Cott will score, obviously, because every time we do a broadcast, and I should plug now, we will be here for a super stream tomorrow, and this game will be live at that point. So Jeff Cott will obviously score, but I'm going home win, because Wilder will go strong enough to get a morale-boosting victory, let's just say. Relegated and winning the FA Cup? Wigan did it, didn't they? Are they the only ones? Birmingham won the League Cup. Did Birmingham get relegated when they won the League Cup? We spoke about Middlesbrough getting to the final and Sheffield Wednesday didn't get relegated. Brighton once got to the final and got to the final, got relegated? Wigan must be the only ones to get relegated and win it, mustn't they? Benjamin, do you prefer to call Benjamin or Ben? You call me whatever you like, Glenn, as long as it's not Jesus, because you're going to fake news symbol. Whatever you like, brother, it's fine. Cole Skew's hair, Callum Patterson hair. Cole Skews. Do we think Cole Skews and Luke Chambers are going to wing their way off to Cardiff now and go on the staff there? We'll find out. Blades 3-0. Blades. Away win. There we go. 2-0 Plymouth. Wilder, the focus on the league. Oh, Argyle win. There we go. Blades, Plymouth on pens. Jeff Cott brace. You love to see it. 1-0 Plymouth. Draw Plymouth on pens. Everyone's looking at this for an upset, aren't they, given how bad Sheffield United have been. Plymouth light long trips. Blades to go down with the lowest point. My heart beats. Glenn, Schadenfreude, 3-1 Blades. Brighton got to the final, never won it and got relegated. What year was that, journeyman? 1980? And Smith must score? It's one of the many years Manchester United got to the final in the 80s, wasn't it? Middlesbrough got to two finals and got relegated. That's And that we were talking about that earlier in the chat with the cancelled Blackburn game. Right, last one. Fulham played Burnley, who heroically went to Anfield and won last night. Fulham versus Burnley. And remember, a Fulham reserve side this year is basically their promotion team from last season. They'll basically play Ruddock, Hector, Reeve, Brian, Adoy, Kearney, Mitrovic. What I'm saying is the Fulham reserve team will be fairly familiar to one another. Burnley, you would imagine, will not give the slightest to whatever you want to say about the FA Cup. They're down near the bottom of the Premier League. So I think I fancy a Fulham reserve team. And the thing with Burnley and, the way Sean Dyche does that is if you're not all in there and going for it, it won't work. So I'm going to go for a home win. There's some players with something to prove there, and your Mitrovic and your Kearney there. So I'm going to go for a Fulham home win. Let's see what you guys are saying in the chat. 4-0 says Ola to Burnley. Fulham on pens. 2-0 Fulham. Burnley were knackered after yesterday's heroics. Fulham 1, Burnley 0. What was your question about Hutchison? Ask me after I've done this, Glenn, because then we're all done. I'm trying to focus on each game as we go. Fulham on pens, 2-0 Burnley. 1-1 Fulham on pens. Fulham win. Burnley playing a song, second string side, I suspect so. Burnley looked fairly safe to me. Well, I was supposed to go to Anfield, yeah. Fulham want it less. Who did you predict? Burnley. There we go. 1-0 Fulham. Burnley won't give a flying one, so I'll go 2-1. Cottagers, there we go. Right. That is the prediction show. If anyone's got any other topics other than Mick McCarthy, because I'll do it in another video, Julian, straight in there with thoughts on Mick McCarthy. It's a separate video. It has to be a separate video for Mick, as and when. That hasn't been confirmed since we've been on. I'll turn my phone back on. That hasn't been confirmed since we've been back on air, has it? That's obviously going to be a second video. So any other questions or topics in the meantime, well, they either do or don't come through. We say thank you, our king of the bin, this stream. And he super chatted, and you can do that at any point during the broadcast. Subscribe via Patreon, loads of good stuff over on Patreon, and obviously YouTube stuff. Hit the like button and all of that good stuff. Apologies if the stream has been a bit wobbly today. I can't see any notifications saying Mr. McCarthy has been confirmed. I suspect that will be done at some nice time for the tweet to go out. That seems to be the thing there. What else have we got? Will Derby stay up? Yes, I suspect so. Will another manager be sacked before the end of the month? Well, Harris would have been your bet, and that's been done. Anyone else under pressure? Mowbray, a little bit of pressure, but not in sacking season. Let me just bring the table up on my mobile telephone. In terms of championship, Warburton has cleared the pressure with back-to-back wins, hasn't he? Karanka would be under a bit of pressure, but he hasn't been there long. So no, I don't see anybody else being fired. But there you go, famous last word. Someone will probably go in the next hour. What do you reckon to Wednesday signing Hutchback? Backward step or a good move? I think it'd be a good signing. And what about Wickham? It may be both. It may be a backward step and a good signing, Glenn. But given the financials there, it's a familiar player who knows the place that they can jump on board, can't they? So would Jukanovic be a good man? Absolutely, yeah. But whether they need someone to just clear the decks, I think Mick would have been good at Wednesday, wouldn't he? But there we go. There we go, Journeyman. What a great question. What watch-alongs am I doing? Tonight we'll be live at 7:30 for Stoke versus Watford. That's already launched on the channel, so go and hit the reminder button. Tomorrow, 2:30, Saturday Super Stream. Sunday, 12:15, Preston versus Reading. I'll also be on the Blue Monday podcast if you want to hear me talk about Ipswich. David, who is the sponsor of the Super Streams, does Munoz know what he's doing, or is he on a blag with a good squad? Too early to judge. really hard to tell. At the moment, yes, it's the squad doing the business. I didn't see that much discernible difference. They were a little bit more, well, a little bit less stiff, David, but you know well as I do that those Watford players, when they click at the same time, the quality of Sarr and Firmino and Hughes and Cleverley and Deeney and Sema, there's just a couple of times where you looked at them and you thought, my God, if they were well coached, those players would destroy this division. So possibly, but let's see. Let's give him time. Do you see Fulham and West Brom staying up? I'll put my dearly departed hat on and say I'd love them to, but I think they might both go, sadly. I just think Burnley and Brighton are going to move away. Only really a Newcastle plummet would do it. So, player that has impressed you thus far this season? Oh, too many to choose from. Absolutely too many. What makes you say it's debt Wednesday? And I didn't say Wednesday are in debt. I just said given the financial situation at the club. And what makes me say that is the FFP charge they had at the start of the season. Ben says, I would say we've looked a lot more positive in our attacking play. We do have, oh God, yeah, the potential is huge. When there was just a couple of times, particularly Sarr, looks like if they could work a system to get him in advantageous position, just looks like he could destroy the championship. Really like Firmino as well. See you in the Superstream Journeyman. Jack, spool back for Derby prediction because I have to stand by my rules that the short form predictions only go on Patreon now. Right. Thank you, everybody, for watching. And sorry, if there's any more questions coming, I've got to. We've got a cool time there. I can see a couple more questions have come in. Thank you, everybody, for watching. And all that remains for me to do is pull my earphones out and say over and out. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button to see more videos from this channel. Hit the subscribe button and to be notified every time we upload. Ring the bell for those notifications to come through on your device. If you really want to support the channel and me as a content creator, I will be eternally grateful if you head over to the merch store and grab something, or support over on Patreon, patreon.com/Benjamin Bloom. Thank you for your time. Go and watch another video.